Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery, IIMFL and Smart Money Alliance. It's a beautiful Monday morning, December 21st, 2020. And we're pleased to get together with our distribution partners most weekdays at this time, about a minute before 8 o'clock Central. Since we are in a holiday week, this will be our only Zoom this week. We will not have a morning Zoom on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. However, we do have a special Zoom training Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock. That invitation went out to everyone this morning. And that would be for those of you that are credit literacy educators and or joint venture incubator partners, because as a joint venture incubator partner, you're also a credit literacy educator by default. At 3 o'clock Central Wednesday, we're going to go through some credit literacy, credit boost topics specific. And if you can't join us live, don't worry, we will record that and make that available. And again, that is for specifically our credit literacy educators as well as our joint venture incubator partners. So today on Monday the 21st, we're going to focus on our campaign for 2021, which I realize doesn't start for another 10 or 11 days, but it's based around the concept of knowledge and capital. Now, the deliverable that we're taking to the marketplace with the knowledge and capital theme is the Capital Ready 3.0. And we've talked about this before. It's essentially the same as the Access to Capital program with three specific differences. The Access to Capital offering has no upfront cost to the client. Now, those clients do have a $2,500 refundable deposit, but it's deferred until after their first capital raise. For the Capital Ready Package 3.0, as we're looking at on the screen right now, that deposit is collected up front. So they're not paying more, they're just paying at a different point in time, right? They're paying it up front. Now, we realize that we need to offer them some perks to make it worth their while to pay that up front. Obviously, it's better for you because you're getting paid immediately, but separate from the benefit for you, there are two other differences between the Access to Capital with no upfront cost and the Capital Ready Package 3.0, which we're looking at here. So the first difference was the timing of the deposit. The second is that we include a commercial address if needed, if desired, for free. And thirdly, we include the credit boost if desired, if needed, for free. When you look at the flyer here that is based around the knowledge and capital branding, it really doesn't make any reference to the commercial address or the credit boost. And you might wonder, well, why is that? If those are two additional perks or benefits of enrolling in the Capital Ready Package 3.0, rather than the no upfront cost access to capital, why wouldn't we want to emphasize that? Well, the reason is it can just be a distraction. So for example, when we look at the fact that there are no minimum credit scores as highlighted here, and I can make this a little larger for us. When we highlight the fact that there's no minimum credit scores, that doesn't mean to enroll in the program, that doesn't mean that some sources of capital don't look at personal credit. Some do and some don't. What you and I know is that we have an excellent ability to help people boost their scores quickly. So could we have listed credit boost free or something here? It would have only complicated the conversation because now they're off and you're explaining credit boost. But what you know and I know is that if they're in CRP 3.0, Capital Ready Package 3.0, and if they need credit boost, then that will be provided to them at no additional cost. In other words, they won't have any performance fees based upon the credit score increase as they would have if they enrolled in credit boost otherwise or a la carte. And then the commercial address, you know that that's valuable. I know that's valuable because what we're doing is helping them meet credibility factors to be able to qualify for funding. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But to throw in here free commercial address would only be a distraction because until you've educated them the relevance of a commercial address, and by going through the implementation process, we'll determine if they would benefit from that or not. Maybe they have an adequate address already. So yes, the Capital Ready Package 3.0 has the advance fee. So the refundable deposit is paid at the time of enrollment. It's paid to you, which is highlighted right here. So that money is going to go into your business account up front. You should have a business account, right? You're running a business. And so that $2,500 goes into your account. It's up to you how you want to collect the $2,500 from the client. You could collect it via PayPal, via credit card, Zelle, any Cash App that you want, cashier's check. It's your business. So regardless if you're a joint venture incubator partner or simply an affiliate, you can promote the Capital Ready Package 3.0. You're a business owner. You are collecting that $2,500, goes into your business account. You keep half and you forward half to us. So you have a 50%, 50% profit margin. That's extraordinary. Look at what most businesses earn. It's usually hardly ever a 50% profit margin. Now, again, that $2,500 is a refundable deposit, and it's refunded to the client once they've reached at least a $100,000 capital raise. But please remember that you're not refunding your portion. That $1,250 that you collected is yours forever. You are not refunding that, even though we are absorbing a full refund of the $2,500 once they've reached at least a $100,000 capital raise. So that's great for you. And then once you have collected the money from a given client, you forward half to us. And then what we'll do is we'll begin the implementation process. And the implementation process includes us sending the DocuSign to the client for the Capital Ready 3.0, and we'll copy you on it. So it'll remind them every day to sign it. We'll recognize the fact that they've already paid that refundable deposit, so they don't feel like, oh, that got lost in the shuffle, I didn't get credit for it. We clarify. And so then once they sign it, then we execute it and you get an executed copy. So with that, you collect the money. If you want to do a 50-50 split on the Capital Ready Package 3.0, forward half to us, and then we'll begin implementation. If you have questions about this, let us know. You can use the question and answer. It's like a chat box within Zoom. So as we look forward to 2021, the Capital Ready Package 3.0 is as it was. It includes the initial 4-week process of building financial literacy and building the loan package. They'll be working with a mentor each week, so they have great service, great support. They're not wondering what's going on, that they're receiving close attention. And ideally, after that 4 weeks, we'll be ready to go to funding. After the 4 weeks, as long as they've complied, we will have our arms around their loan package. We will be able to identify what source or sources of capital that they qualify for, and then we can proceed. What you have to keep in mind, and sometimes clients aren't as astute as you and I, and they'll think, okay, so I go through this 4-week program and I instantly qualify for $100,000. Well, you understand that this isn't too good to be true. We have to meet the credibility factors. And so by gathering the data, we'll figure out what source or sources of capital best suits their mitigating circumstances, and we'll be able to advise them if they meet the underwriting criteria or not. Maybe we need to take a stair step. We call it tranches. Maybe we'll have to take a few steps to get to the ultimate capital raise. Maybe they're ready to go all the way in. Maybe they're not ready for even the first step. It's through that 28-day process of building financial literacy and building the loan package that we know. So let's go over here and look at some of the things that we highlight to the client, and we can get you an editable format. I know some of you, including Dave, was looking for a Capital Ready Package 3.0 flyer. We've recently revised it. We're rolling it out today, and we'll be able to get landing pages for each of you. However, with the landing page, keep in mind that you're not submitting these leads into us. You are, as we said, step one, you're closing these leads. and then you're collecting the 2,500 and sending half in. But let's talk about some of the key points that clients should know. Number one, didn't mean to draw a box, sorry. There are no minimum, if I can get it done here. There are no minimum credit scores or time in business to participate. Don't infer that to mean, oh, I can go get any type of loan I want regardless of my credit score or time in business. No, what you and I know, there are different sources of capital. Each have their own underwriting criteria. What we're saying is that we will allow anyone to enroll in the Capital Ready Package 3.0, which we're using under the branding of Knowledge and Capital, regardless of their minimum, regardless of credit scores or time in business. So you see that subtle difference. No minimum credit scores or time in business to enroll in the program, but that would be too good to be true to infer, oh, I can go get any type of loan I want regardless of my credit score or time in business. We never worry about credit scores because credit scores can be increased very quickly. Time in business, there are some sources of capital that care about that, but many that don't. Okay, secondly, we're going to clarify that the capital raise could come from numerous sources and could be based off of business credit. And then we define what business credit is it's based upon the EIN of the business with no use of personal credit. Thirdly, we clarify in the first 4 weeks that we're going to assign a mentor to work with them. And so they're going to really like that. They're going to have weekly one-on-ones with the mentor who's going to guide them through the process. We didn't always have this service model in place. And so sometimes clients would feel like that they got lost or they weren't properly supported. Now that should never, ever happen. We have, I think, 112, 113 of us that can do mentoring of clients. They'll be assigned someone. Now, if you're a joint venture incubator partner, typically you or someone on your team will do the mentoring. If you are one of our affiliates referring people in, then they'll be assigned to a mentor, myself or one of the others. But that's a nice high touch approach. Now here we explain that we're not charging an upfront fee to enroll in the Capital Ready Package 3.0, but there is a refundable deposit, and that makes sense because we're putting together the loan package. And if they were to go out and just price to pay someone to put together a loan package, they very well could be spending $5,000 or more. When I worked for the SBA, there was one lady in our office that did loan packages on the side. Very smart lady. She's a retired banker. And so she would do loan packages similar to what we're doing here, what you and I are doing on the side. And she wouldn't even talk to a client unless they paid $5,000. Her name is Shirley, by the way, at least $5,000 up front. If you didn't give Shirley at least $5,000, she wouldn't even return your call. Here in our case, and that wasn't refundable, of course, in our case, we're making it a refundable deposit, which is more palatable, and it's a very low price, $2,500. We do explain to them that in many cases, the capital raise might occur in multiple tranches because this is not a too good to be true scenario. We do guarantee any participant in the Capital Ready Package 3.0 under what we're calling the Knowledge and Capital campaign, a minimum of $100,000. That is factual, but that doesn't mean that they're going to instantly qualify. And I see Tony's on the call today. So Tony, this is important for you to assimilate because Tony, you've been around quite a while. So you need to understand that the clients will receive a guaranteed $100,000 capital raise, but it's too good to be true to say, oh, they'll just get it automatically. We may have to do some work to meet the underwriting criteria, but what we're promising to do is to work with them to get to that point, to get them from where they're at to where they need to be. That doesn't mean that everyone will have to do some work. Some may be instantly available or eligible for either certain types of capital or the entire amount that they want. So with that, and then of course, we're always looking to overcome challenges that clients have. Some clients come to us and they have a solvency issue. They have no money. Now, I realize that you could be a pessimist and say, well, that's why they're coming to us to raise capital. But there are some business owners that are just stone cold broke. And I don't say that to make light of it, they're just broke. So they sometimes lack even the basic funding, the basic liquidity to be able to become credible. And so if that's the case, it's crucial that you and I help those individuals as well, because they're usually swept to the side. No one else wants to work with broke entrepreneurs. So worst case scenario, if they come to us and we identify that they've got some credibility issues that need to be addressed before their first tranche of capital, then we can help them generate earned income. And earned income could reasonably be $1,000 a week. How would they do that? They could become a credit literacy educator, no selling involved, earn an average of $500 per client enrolled in Credit Boost. Now, at this point, you may say, well, it seems like a bait and switch. What did we just do? How did we go from them being a client to them being a distribution partner? Well, you've got to stop and realize a business needs to generate cash flow. Now, I realize that most businesses won't generate enough cash flow and profit to meet their growth needs. And that's where Capital Ready comes in, or access to capital. But if a company just has no cash flow, no ability to pay its bills, then that's a significant problem. So the consultative approach that you and I would take to them is say, well, based upon what we're seeing here, you have no cash flow. Is that correct? Yes, I have no cash flow. Well, we need to fix that. What are your ideas to start generating some revenue through your business? Because that's what businesses do, right? We sell some product, some service, something to a customer, and the customer pays us. That's what businesses do. Well, no, I don't have enough money to get started. That's why I'm here talking to you. Well, great. Well, we need to diversify the scope of services that your business offers and find some way that you can sell something to someone to generate some earned income if you have no liquidity. Well, becoming a credit literacy educator is one option. They could go sell muffins by the side of the road or whatever they want to do. But what we have to sometimes do is be a realist with clients. And when you have a client that comes to you that has no solvency, they have no money, and they think the only thing they're going to do is just borrow their way out of it, even though they can't show any lender in the world that they could even afford to pay debt, we need to sometimes help them generate earned income. What's wonderful about our model is we help them with that. I don't think that there's another model that does. If you go to the bank and the bank says, well, you're insolvent, you have no liquidity, you don't qualify, the bank's not going to offer to give them $1,000 a week to get their business going. That's essentially the opportunity you and I are giving them by allowing them to start earning income. So if that doesn't make sense to you, I'd like you to stop and think about it, because it's hugely important. If they don't have liquidity, they're not solvent, they don't have any cash flow coming through their business, and they can't qualify yet for the credibility standards needed, helping them generate earned income in the short term can be the difference between a successful capital raise and not. Okay, so again, it's based around knowledge and capital. We'll get to your questions in just a second. Based around knowledge and capital. Of course, capital is really what they want. There's going to be some small businesses that are drawn to the knowledge, but many of them are drawn to the capital. So that's why we address it first. From the knowledge perspective, what we do is we use award-winning curriculum that was developed by the FDIC and the SBA. And so that curriculum is embedded in that 4-week, that 28-day process on the front end, which I think all of you are familiar with. Okay, so what I want to do is start getting into your questions, because knowledge and capital is a campaign you're going to be hearing a lot about in the upcoming year. And it's doing exactly that. We're going to increase the knowledge and increase access to capital. And by doing so, your business is going to generate $2,500 up front for each client that enrolls. I mean, if you just enrolled 4 clients a month, 1 a week, now your business is making $10,000 a month gross income, $120,000 a year. What do we know special about $10,000 a month in gross income? That starts to qualify for funding. There's the 3 C's of funding: creditworthiness, cash flow, collateral. We need at least one of those 3 C's to borrow money for debt-based capital. We don't need really any of them for equity-based, but for debt-based. So once we're earning at least depositing at least $10,000 a month into our business account, now our cash flow is significant enough to qualify for funding off of that itself. All right, so let's go through the questions. And so Tony asked a good question. Well, what if they want to see the DocuSign agreement prior to signing? And that's perfectly fine. We can handle that a couple ways. What we would prefer to do is to get you a PDF version of it, and you can share that with them. We normally don't send it out through DocuSign. We incur cost. We spent $10,300 this month on DocuSigns alone. And so that's okay. It's a cost of doing business. But since you're closing these deals, we would rather give you a copy of the DocuSign packet, and then you can share that with them. Because if you're going to pitch Capital Ready Package 3.0, you're closing these deals. And so if you want to show them the DocuSign to help get them closed, that's perfectly fine, but it wouldn't come through DocuSign. It would be the packet that you have a PDF version of, and you can share that with the client at such point in the sales process that you would like. Again, this does not change anything. If you want to just focus on access to capital where the client has no upfront costs, they don't pay the refundable deposit until after their first round of capital raise, then don't worry about what we're talking about here. But there's some of you like Barry and Monique and others that are very strong closers. And so you want the opportunity to earn more upfront income. And so with that being said, this would be the way to approach that. So thank you, Tony. So yes, if they want to see the DocuSign up front, of course, let's not call it the DocuSign. If they want to see the contractual package up front, of course, you should share that with them. They shouldn't be surprised by it, but we wouldn't send it through the DocuSign system. You would have a PDF version of that, and you would share it with them directly. Thank you, Tony. John asked, once the DocuSign is returned, which is step 3 here. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Step 3, John's asking, how long does it take for a mentor to reach out? Well, here's the truth. A mentor doesn't reach out after step 3. What happens is once they have executed the DocuSign, IMFL will send a company profile to the client. And it's sent via DocuSign. So it's not another agreement, but we use DocuSign because it's a reliable way to deliver it. So technically what happens, John, is that once they've executed the DocuSign, we'll acknowledge that, but we're going to, within 24 hours, 1 business day, we're going to send them the company profile form. So we have the data set that we need to upload the client. So for example, that's going to include more information about their business, how many owners there are, when did it start, do they have a residential address, a commercial address, so forth. Once the company profile is returned, and for both the DocuSign, the agreement, and the DocuSign company profile, we set it up where they get reminders once a day for 120 days. So unless you gave us a bad email address, they'll keep getting prompted. And of course, they're going to be motivated. They've already submitted the $2,500 refundable deposit. They're going to be anxious to get going. But back to John's question, then IIMFL will assign a mentor within 1 business day. So that's the answer. And so the client then will be onboarded. They're going to get an email that says, hey, you've been assigned to, for example, you've been assigned to Anthony Sellers as your mentor. Here's his Calendly link to get scheduled. And then they'll start having weekly calls. So this is a more thorough understanding of the first 5 steps, John. Let me know if that doesn't answer your question. John's asking, yeah, so the access to capital program is essentially the same with 3 differences. And this is where we started our conversation, right, John? Access to capital still has a $100,000 guarantee, but the refundable deposit is collected after the first capital raise. So the client has no upfront cost. That was difference number 1. Difference number 2 is access to capital does not include the free commercial address, which is about a $1,200 value. And they may or may not need that, I realize. And difference number 3 is access to capital does not include credit boost, which they may or may not need. If they do need that, then that would be a separate fee to the client. But of course, it's another revenue stream to you as well. So credit boost and commercial address is included in Capital Ready 3.0. It's not embedded in access to capital, but absolutely the access to capital is still available. Okay. David asks, is there a maximum time allowed? So it's a 1-year agreement. The DocuSign that we execute with the client is a 1-year agreement, David. Dion asks, yep. So we can work with you on that, Dion, offline here. Tony says PDF is fine. Robert asks, for person with cash flow issues and credit boost income for them, how is that set up? Well, I don't understand exactly what you're asking, Robert, but the key is follow the process. And so we bring the client in, and then we do complete the profile, so we learn more about them. And of course, through that 28-day, that 4-week process, we're gathering more and more data about the client to build their loan package to be able to determine if they're meeting credibility standards or not. And so by going through that, we can determine if they need assistance with commercial address or credit boost. And Robert, you're pinging me with questions outside of our lesson today. So we need to focus on the lesson today, and we can reach out individually on things that's not related to this topic. Dion asked a really good question, which program to offer them? Well, Dion, if you want to make $2,500 up front, you could start with Capital Ready 3.0. When you go to collect the $2,500 refundable deposit, if they say, Dion, oh shit, I don't have $2,500, then you'd say, hey, no worries. Let's pivot over to our Access to Capital program. It has many of the same benefits, but it has no upfront cost. And then you submit them in on your landing page. So it's real easy to back down. If the person doesn't have the ability or the willingness to pay the $2,500 refundable deposit up front, all you do is you just quickly pivot over to the Access to Capital, whereby they would still have the $2,500 deposit, but not paid until after their first round of capital raise. It's just if you're leading with this and closing these, Dion, you're putting $2,500 in your business bank account for each conversion. If you're dropping them into Access to Capital, you'll still earn income, but you won't earn it up front. You won't earn it immediately. And this is why we're taking a greater focus on this. For clients to pay $2,500 for this proposition is very reasonable, let alone the fact that it's a fully refundable deposit. Thank you, Dion. Yes, and so we can work with clients regardless how long they've been in business. So they can be pre-launch startup, or they can be mature. They could have been around 20 years. We have some individuals that enroll multiple clients, and we can enroll 2, 3, 10, multiple companies in either Access to Capital or the Capital Ready 3.0. They can enroll as many times as they want. And that's just more capital that we're raising for them off of different EINs, and more income to you from more conversions. Thank you, David. Dion asks, is there a series of questions? Well, let's talk about that. So essentially, you as either a joint venture incubator partner or an affiliate, you're creating awareness that what we do is we help small businesses access capital, and we have a guaranteed approach. We guarantee a minimum of $100,000 capital raise. What we've been a big advocate for is to have you start with education, and we've talked about that many times. Start setting up in Eventbrite the 27 mistakes and teach that on a regular basis. And so what you're marketing is driving people into the webinar, and they register for your Eventbrite webinar, and they either show up or they don't, but in either case, you have their contact information and you follow up with them. Now, if you're going to just feed them into access to capital, then frankly, just drop them in your landing page and we'll take it from there. But if what you're going to try to do is close them on Capital Ready Package 3.0, then you're going to reach out to them, do a quick needs analysis, explain the highlights, and try to close them. And then, as I mentioned a moment ago, if you can't close them with the $2,500 refundable deposit up front, then just pivot over and say, well, you know what? We do have another alternative. It's called access to capital, and there's no upfront cost. How about we go ahead and get started with that today? In that case, all you do is get us their contact information through your landing page, and then we'll go close them and you'll still get paid. So hopefully that helped, Dion. Let's see. Again, Robert, you're asking questions that are off topic here. So right now we're focused on knowledge and capital, Capital Ready 3.0, aren't we? Okay, so John has a question that's back on task. And so he's an affiliate with us. And so yes, you're going to collect the $2,500 up front. And then yes, John, you're going to submit half to us. Oh, okay. So if they're doing the Capital Ready 3.0, we mentioned that a couple of the perks for them is they get the commercial address at no additional cost. Therefore, there's no commission paid out on the commercial address. It's embedded. Secondly, we include credit boost at no additional cost. So there's no commission paid out on the credit boost because it's been provided at no additional cost. So no, John, if you pitch Capital Ready 3.0, you collect $2,500 up front, then for those clients, do not expect to be paid off commercial address or credit boost income, because there is no credit boost or commercial address income. We've embedded it at no additional charge. Good question. All right. So Tucson asked about credible addresses. And so clients can get an address, well, I'm going to answer the question as related to this program, because of course clients could go get commercial addresses wherever they want, however they want. But in terms of the commercial address that we provide, it's going to be within our incubator, because that's where we have commercial addresses to give out. And by being located within the incubator, they're going to qualify for the Chapman Fund, which is up to $250,000. It's tax supported. You got to be in the right taxing district, and of course the incubator is. And then also they'll be able to qualify for the Texas Workforce Grant, which pays for their employees for a period of time. So the commercial addresses that we would be giving through Capital Ready Package 3.0, as you might infer, would be related to where we have incubators. All right, and Joseph asked a good question. What does it take to get a landing page? And so on the landing page here, any of our joint venture incubator partners are able to get a landing page and a flyer for free, of course, tied to the Capital Ready Package 3.0. And if you're an affiliate, then we provide a landing page and flyer for free as long as you're going through the process yourself. That does not mean that you have to go enroll in the Capital Ready Package 3.0. You could just be going through the access to capital with no upfront cost. But we know that's the best training that we can provide, is having our distribution partners go through the steps, to go through the 28-day process themselves to qualify for the $100,000 themselves. So you can always refer to us even without a landing page. And let me show you how to do that. So let's shrink this down. Oh, I was doing a search for one of our joint venture incubator partners that was looking for a new business list. And so this was in Phoenix, Arizona. We found 401 new businesses. That's called a heat map. So I'm distracted a bit, but we provided them all the contact information. But what we were talking about is, what do you do if you don't have a landing page? Well, when you go to the IIMFL website, at the bottom of every page, you can submit leads in with name, email, phone, and referred by. And so if you're submitting them in for whichever program, you click on it. Now, again, if what you're doing is you're closing them on the Capital Ready Package 3.0, you're not going to be submitting them into us. You're closing them. But if you want to refer them in for the access to capital where there's no upfront cost, then you just simply get their information into us, click this box and hit submit. Obviously, this is dependent upon you putting referred by, or we won't know that they were referred by you. So a landing page is convenient, and we will create a landing page for you at no cost as long as you're actually going through the access to capital, which has no upfront cost. Okay, so that answers Joseph's question. The commercial address that we're providing is a true physical address, a unique suite number. And that's one of the perks of the Capital Ready Package 3.0. Again, that's about a $1,200 a year value. And again, Robert, third time you're asking questions that's not quite what we're on here, but what we're talking about today is the Capital Ready Package 3.0 and our branding campaign that we're going to use in 2021, which is based around knowledge and capital. Let's go back to that 27 mistakes. And so when we're talking about building a pipeline, what we know is that teaching is a great way to build a pipeline. We've had separate trainings on that, whereby what you do is you start setting up Eventbrites and you start teaching this 27 mistakes, which you can see here. And you can either teach it from scratch, or you can just open up the webinar, the Zoom, and then play the YouTube that's available embedded, and then close it out to make it real convenient for you. Okay, so let's go back to where we started. Who has other questions regarding knowledge and capital? Because again, if all you want to do is just focus on no upfront cost, which is fine, but some of you are really good closers. And so you would rather be generating a greater amount of income upfront. And so the knowledge and capital puts $2,500 in your business bank account now when they enroll. If you don't have the competence or confidence to close and collect $2,500, then just stick with the access to capital. Largely the same proposition. The differences would be no upfront cost, refundable deposit collected after the first capital raise. However, then the commercial address and the credit boost is not included. So again, I don't think that we're going to teach those of you that are not good salespeople. I don't think we're going to ever teach you to be good salespeople. Some of you have that inclination, that ability, that skill set, and some of you don't. If you do, you'll, like Monique and Barry and others, you'll want to focus on this because it's a great value proposition to the client, and you're making money day one, a good amount of money day one. If you're not a good closer, you don't want to close, then just feed them into the access to capital. We'll close them. You'll still obviously get paid. You're just not getting paid up front because the refundable deposit's not being collected up front. Okay, who else has any questions about knowledge and capital, the campaign that we're rolling out in 2021? Also keep in mind that we are not having Zoom webinars the rest of this week because of the holiday week. However, Wednesday at 3 p.m., We have a special Zoom training specifically for our current joint venture incubator partners and credit literacy educators talking about Credit Boost. And that invitation went out to you all this morning via email. All right, well, thank you all. I know some of you have individual questions that this is not the right format to answer, so just reach out to us and we can assist you with that. I guess a couple of you have questions on the leads list, so we can go back to that leads list. We can generate leads, and you can see that we'll just click on one randomly here to see what's included if it hasn't timed out, since it's a little while since I was on this page. Waiting for it to refresh. Yeah, here we go. So here we have a new LLC that recently opened. It's a new DBA. It's home-based, so we know that they probably don't have the access to capital that they need. It's in Phoenix, Mesa, Arizona, Maricopa County. We have the phone number. A lot of times it'll provide us the contact person to reach out to. In this case, the source data didn't have that. We can go back and look at another one. Oh, the map came up there in a second. Here's CSI Insurance. This one, yeah, here we go. Here we know, now we know who to contact. We're going to contact Miss Ashley Lawrence. Again, another new DBA that's home-based. She has 2 employees. We've got her phone number. We've got her insurance, the industry category, address. We're not going to have emails on these leads from Data Axle. So you'll want to reach out to them and then invite them to your 27 mistake webinar that you should be conducting on a regular basis and registering people through Eventbrite. We talked about that on a different training. Yeah, so any of you that are looking for leads, just email in and we can help you with the free leads. All right, well, thanks everyone. Again, have a happy holiday. We will be back next Monday. We'll be here all week next week, Monday through Friday at 8 o'clock. But this week of Christmas, today, Monday the 21st, is our only Zoom training, with the exception of Wednesday. And Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we'll be getting together to talk about Credit Boost, to make sure that everyone is fully prepared, able, and monetizing this incredible opportunity to help both individuals and entrepreneurs increase their credit scores by an average of 100 points in only 30 to 60 days. All right, thanks everyone. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.